Alright, so essentially, I watched the final episode of Merlin and I have mixed emotions about it.
I feel a rant coming on. This is gonna get serious.
Yeah.
Take deep breaths.
I don't know how to describe my emotions towards it.
I feel like you're gonna explode and I'm getting really scared.
Right, so we've had 5 seasons and he has never said anything to him. And there are so many times when it's been blatantly, obviously, staring in everyone's faces. Hey, you know, I'm a wizard. Hi, sorcerer, magic. The episode starts and he's all old man. And then he walks up to a mountain really quickly, blows up all of Morgana's army and sends it back. It's lightning and power and they see him on the hill. He's like, oh, I am magical. And everyone's like, oh, who's that? Sorcerer. We should thank him. And then Gaius is always sitting there in the background. I know who it is. So he does all this magic and stuff. And then Arthur is down, he's like, oh yeah, that person helped us. And then he's fighting off a few people and then he sees an injured friend, man, knight person, and he goes to help him up and then you hear like chainmail clinking in the background. I'm like, oh, and you see this like, sort of like figure coming. I'm like, oh, I know what's happening! And it's Mordred! Mordred has come to kill him. No! And they're so he's like, oh, I'm expecting this big battle between Mordred and Arthur. Nope. He just stabs him, Arthur, in the side, which actually doesn't, in the side, but he doesn't actually kill him. A fragment of his sword comes off, and then that leads to the rest of the episode, which I shall explain. Then Arthur sort of like faints, and then he has his sword as well, and then he stabs Mordred, and then Mordred's like, then he falls. I'm like, no, why did you do that?
He's evil, but he's cute. You know that?
Because he's really good looking. You can't kill good looking
people.
So anyway, but
it's better when the villains are ugly, because then you're not so sad when they die.
And then the sad thing happens. Merlin has turned back to a normal person with nice cheekbones and everything. And then he's walking. And so he's walking through the battlefield. He's like, where's Arthur? I can't find Arthur. Oh sh**. It's Arthur!
My gaydar is searching!
And so then he sort of just finds Arthur like just laying like this.
Attractive.
That's what he basically just looks like. He sort of like almost looks brain dead, but isn't. You see the look in his eyes and he runs and he's like, Arthur, I'm gonna save you. He doesn't know he's a sorcerer yet. So the next scene, he finds out that Merlin is a wizard. He tells him. He's crying and I was crying, and so he's tending to Arthur and Arthur's like, oh, where have you been, sort of stuff, and he's like, oh, and so Merlin starts,
Please tell me Arthur starts bashing him saying, you little asshole, where have you been? Well, I've been off fighting and going and getting stabbed, you've been off gallivanting.
A little bit, but it's a lot more. This whole episode is really touchy. It's really like you're sitting there going, don't cry, because Merlin is crouching over him and he's going, this whole time there's been this prophecy and I was supposed to be there, I was supposed to stop him, I knew it was going to happen. And he's like, I stopped all the Saxons, I did all of that, but I couldn't save you and stuff. And he's like, you didn't stop the Saxons, the sorcerer did. And
wait for it to click, mate.
Merlin drops his head and then the tears start coming, and then he just sort of like,
does he go all kind of wishy-washy wizard word?
No, he goes,
no?
He goes, I'm a sorcerer to him. And so Arthur's sort of on the ground, just like, no, you're not a sorcerer.
Shut up. He's like, you're kidding me, right?
And he's like, no, I am a sorcerer. I've been a sorcerer all this time, but I use my magic for you, Arthur. I don't. And I'm just like,
no, you're making me cry. I haven't even watched it. I stopped watching it because I got sick of the damn thing. You're gonna start crying then.
And then he puts his hand and he goes, you're not a sorcerer, you're Merlin. Like, you know, you're my servant. And Merlin goes, wait, and he puts his hand out and they've got their fire there and he says some random and never understand. And like a dragon made out of fire, a little tiny thing starts flying around the thing. And he looks at Merlin with disgust. He goes, he refuses to look him in the eye. He just sort of like, and he's sort of like trying to move away from him because of course he's dying, he can't move. And Merlin's crying anymore and he's like, just go.
No! no, because of the whole thing with his father and outlawing magic. No.
So they trick this spy into telling Morgana that they're somewhere else, and then Gawain and Percival. Gawain.
Who's Gawain? Are
you don't know who Gawain? Not Gwen. Gawain. His name is Sir Gawain.
The fuck is with that name?
He's like the best character.
Okay, Jesus.
Him and Gawain and Percival will ride off on horses because they send Morgana in the wrong direction. Everywhere she carries around these snakes, and if they bite you or whatever, it's like the most torturous pain. Whatever. It's to get people to talk, to tell the truth. That they say, "Oh, I'll die before I tell you." It's like, yeah, okay.
Really?
It's like you haven't met my babies.
Go, my babies, Mama said.
So basically, they try and kill her, but they can't because no mortal blade can kill her, which they've only decided to introduce in this episode. Hey, you know that much.
That's convenient.
They both told me that like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, because, you know...
Oh, this is hard because you don't know who Gawain was. If you knew who Gawain was, this would be a seriously
just tell me.
heartfelt thing. He dies. She kills him. And then Percival's really sad and he's holding his blood. He's like, no, 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 no. Percival's like one of my favourite characters. Purely because he's gorgeous and he's the only knight that refuses to wear chainmail that covers his arms, and they're like this big, and I'm like, thank you,
thank you, but you're gonna get your arm cut off.
I know.
Thanks.
That too. What was happening, I didn't know. I'm like, oh, it's Merlin. Everything always ends in a happy ending. Every episode is always good. They always, you know, they always defeat the person that they have to. So they make this big journey, and just as they're almost there, Morgana shows up.
No!